even if you have completely other convictions. It's your choice, and your choice is the ultimate expression of your dignity. So, how to reroute? Well, that's not so difficult. If we are in this postmodern disappointment, that's an excellent starting point. Go back to your weakness. Universalize the weakness. Make every human being a weak person. And celebrate it. Because as soon as there is the weakness, there is the appreciation of God. And there we have the value back. So it's a deeply relational one. If you want to be an atheist and you want to celebrate equality, you are in trouble. You need God with the dignity. Then you have the right attitude. You need to bow down and receive the dignity from someone else. It's not something that works autonomously. Because thank God we don't believe it anymore. So that's that's a relief. That's equality. Now let's go to solidarity. Solidarity is as beautiful, of course, because we are family. Look at the religions and the philosophies in the world. Look at how many family mentalities do you have in the world. How many people are gathered around a heavenly Father? Which people are celebrating that they are brothers and sisters because they share one Father? There are not so many of them. There is this deep notion in Europe from already the time of Charlemagne that we are brothers and sisters because we share one personal God. If there's no personal God, then it becomes a bit forced to talk about brotherhood. Because where's the father? Where's the mother? Of course you can say brothers and sisters because we're all humans, but it doesn't really work in history. Look at all the cultures. You will not see so many brothers and sisters on the basis of humanity. We're all copies of the same species. That's how it was interpreted. But where is the brothers and sisters? You need a family member for that. One level up. A father or a mother, whatever, but it needs person. And it needs to unite all human beings. And there it is. The Father, the biblical God, is a very personal God. He is really a family member. And we got a big brother to it. So there we have the family perspective. And it's a powerful perspective. And it was the foundation for our solidarity in Europe. Already Charlemagne, he ordered in the 8th century that all people should pay tithes to the church. And the church should take care of all the people. Why? Because everyone was considered part of the family. They were quite generous in considering people part of the family. Because as soon as you belong to a particular people, you were part of the church. That's called national churches. It's a very generous way of talking about family life. We could reconsider that as well. It's if you're part of the people, you're part of the family, and so we will take care of you. Of course, we are too Protestant to just accept that. We will say, no, there's a choice element in it. Of course. But it had a huge advantage in history because everyone was considered part of the church, as part of the family. It was a family duty to take care of all these people. And so in Europe, we developed a notion of mandatory solidarity. There are other cultures in the world that wouldn't like that idea. They are more Protestant. But the Catholics already from Charlemagne, they had this old tradition of considering everyone in the national church part of a family, and so the solidarity was to everyone. And then, of course, there was the Reformation, and the funny thing is, the Protestants copied that in Europe. They copied that behavior, and we got not only Catholic national churches, we also got Protestant national churches. And they copied that same behavior, but it was a Catholic one. Because what happened in America, they left the institutes, and they created a lot of free churches, and there solidarity became more voluntary, which is another value. It's not less, it's another value. There the individual responsibility was emphasized, but in Europe we kept emphasizing that solidarity is part of an institute. That is, we have a mandatory solidarity. We have to take care of each other, and we were still thinking like a family. And so Europe will always be more Catholic than America. It will always be, for that same reason, it will always be more leftish than America. Because they are emphasizing another value, which is not less, but they are more Protestant. And we are more Catholic in Europe. So we'll never fully understand each other. But the solidarity was institutionalized. And of course, a long time it was the church. But then, after the Second World War, the state took over that same role. It was still a mandatory solidarity, so we still had to pay taxes. We paid taxes to the church, now we also had to pay taxes to the state, and they took care of us. And oh, well, we did quite well for some time, and then it got a bit expensive. And some people, it wasn't really doing well to some people to get paid without work. And so we started to reconsider this whole system of institutionalized solidarity through the state. And now many governments are hoping that we will return a bit to civil society. But what happened was that the solidarity was based upon a family mentality. And then it was owned by the state. And then this notion of brotherhood disappeared. Actually, it disappeared already in the French Revolution. What happened was we didn't connect solidarity anymore to a family mentality, and so to family duty. We connected it to a social contract. And there you have this secularized notion again. Solidarity, as long as you connect it to family, you have God along with it. Because there is no brotherhood without a father. So as long as there was a family, we had a family duty, and God was watching us as a heavenly Father who was loving us but also encouraging us. And it was a relational thing. And then we started emphasizing social contract. And it became a deal. And it became a voluntary thing to take care of each other. And now we're in trouble. Now we are expecting again something from civil society. Not civil servants, civil society. And we are expecting more of them. We are hoping that the citizens are more involved now. That they like to, have some solidarity. But where's the family? There's no family. We had 60 years of getting used to the idea that the state was taking care of us. Without a family. Just in an institutionalized way. And now we have to return to the idea that we're still family. And that actually the government can't play for a family member. They can't play that role. They can only refer to a father, but that would be a submitting attitude. That would be difficult for a government. So what happens? We have still this space for the Christian message. There's still the significance of a family mentality where people consider themselves brothers and sisters in one God-given family with one God above them. And if you don't like a father in the first place because you got lost, you can't find the way back to God as a heavenly Father, then think of God as a creator. That's what Paul did when he talked in Acts 17, on the Areopagus. Yeah. He started with God as a creator. Okay, that's fine with me. God as a creator, that's also the origin of every human. But then, the extra element we can add to it, that's when it becomes a family, when God is a father, and then we have another kind of solidarity. I think the precious thing about Europe is that we said for centuries, solidarity is not voluntary. It's a mandatory thing. It's a family duty. You're part of a family. You don't choose your brothers and sisters. You just have to take care of them. It's just like a real family. You don't choose them, and still you have to take care of them. It's a family duty. And that might be a very important thing, and we could return to that element. Okay, freedom, there's the Protestant one. This was, of course, a family mentality, and it was a very strong one, and it is still an important feature of the Catholic mentality, and also into national Protestant churches. But there's also, of course, the freedom, and it was Luther who started as one of the first to emphasize that there's also such thing as your own conscience, your own mind. And he could even refer to his own conscience and his own mind standing before the emperor. That was a quite self-minded thing. That was quite stubborn. He could have been a Jew. It was such another perspective that what he was introducing. He could oppose to 1500 years of thought and refer to his own conscience. Can you imagine what you're doing? This is anarchy. You are referring to your own conscience. He did a very powerful thing. He said, no, he didn't say it, but I'm translating now. Actually, he made the beginning of a diversity. He was the beginning of a road, a development that led eventually to the value of authenticity. He said there is more than one mind set.